everybody, welcome back to our advanced violin class. So last week we worked on songs in the key of G, and this week, going along in our book, we're going to work on the key of C. These keys are getting increasingly difficult, I won't lie to you. C is more challenging than G was. So one thing that I do want you guys to notice, I realized that I didn't talk about this the last couple of weeks, but we can tell that these songs are in the key of C because at the beginning of our song, we have a key signature. So let me actually pull up this other page that we're going to use. So do you guys notice how in each of these songs, we have our treble clef, and then right next to that treble clef, on the first one, it's just the time signature, 2-4. On the second one, there's a sharp, and then there's the 2-4. And then on the third one, there's a flat, and then the 2-4. So those different, having nothing, having A sharp or multiple sharps, having A flat or multiple flats, those are our key signatures, and those tell us that we're playing in C, that we're playing in G, that we're playing in D. D was our first one, so D is 2 sharps. If you look American Patrol, that one we talked about last week, that's in the key of G. G is 1 sharp. Now for this week, we're playing in C, and you'll notice on this C etude page, on page 8, that all of our exercises in C have nothing. C is all naturals. There's no modifiers in this key. No flats or sharps. So that's how you know that we're in C, for the most part. So let's start off with this C major scale study. So this first note, if you notice where we're playing, our first note, that's going to be our third finger on the G string is where we're starting. Okay, so let's play through this slowly. Get your violins up. Oh, I just realized we forgot to tune, didn't we? Well, hopefully you guys' violins are in tune, but why don't we really quickly go through and tune our strings. We're going to need all of them today. All right, here's our low G string. D string. Our A string. And then our E string. All right, starting with our C major scale study, third finger on our G string. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Lower this finger. This finger's lowered too. So remember we talked about that last week, those down arrows? Those are showing us where, because we do have some notes where in order to play an F natural, in order to play a C natural and not an F sharp, we have to move our fingers off of our normal marks of tape. So that's that top C, that instead of putting our finger on the piece of tape, which is our C sharp, we move that down and we play it right here. And then same thing with that F sharp, instead of putting our finger on the piece of tape, we move it down and we play it right there. Okay? Right in between the two. All right, going down. So put your lowered second finger in place on your A string, and let's play the second half of this C major scale study. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. our C major scale. I think that this is going to be nice. It's a little bit slower, less fast-paced. All right, all half notes, so we can really focus on that tuning. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that we've done that, I want to go back and I want to play that C major scale study one more time to get those faster notes in. Let's go back up to the top and play that. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. All right, let's take a look at this C major etude. So, one thing that's cool, I don't know if you guys have any recording softwares at your house. If your parents have a Mac, or if you have a Mac, most of those come with GarageBand on it. And one thing that I like to do sometimes is record myself playing these duets because I'm at home by myself. And sometimes there's people to play them with me and sometimes there isn't. So for fun, one thing that you could do in your free time, so we've got a melody and a harmony here for this C etude. If you put some headphones in, and then make sure that the output is still coming out of your computer for recording, you could record yourself playing the melody on this, and then set up a new audio track and record yourself playing the harmony, and then you can listen to it and see what you're doing well, what could be improved, and kind of practice it that way and create something that way. It's a fun way to apply your music in some other areas too, and apply your learning in some other areas. Or even, if you wanted to, maybe you don't have that, you could just do a recording on your computer or on the phone of you playing the melody. And so count off 1, 2, 2, 2, play the melody. And then you could play that and you'll be counting yourself off, and then you can play the harmony in real time with yourself playing the melody. That could be a cool way to do it also. But either way, let's all learn this melody part together. So this one, as I'm looking at it, we've got some pretty low notes here. So we're starting on our third finger on the G string and then going to open. So that's 3, open, 3, 1 on the D string, 3, open. Let's play that. And then the next measure is just a nice scale. So we're playing our C major scale up. Yeah. That wasn't very clean. Let's try that again. And then we're doing some more arpeggios down. So then we hit that C. And then we're going to our G on the D string, so third finger. That one's just a nice arpeggio. So 3, 1, 3, 1, And then the next part is the only part where we really break out of those arpeggios in the lower part. So we're going to be going to B, A, B, C. Try just playing those last two measures with me. So that's 2, 1, 2, 3 on our G string. Here we go. All right, let's try slowly playing this whole melody part. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good, let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully that went well. I know that this is a little bit challenging. So then the next one, the harmony part, if we look at that, I see some similarities. Those first two measures are identical. Where it breaks apart is in the third measure. So let's just start at that third measure. So it's going C, B, C, D, E, F natural, D. Starting from the third measure, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, whoops, sorry, I looked away from the page, so it's... Alright, let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this last part is F. That part's kind of nice. It's just 1, open 3, 1. Try that with me. 1, 2, 2, and then we have a rest. And then this is different from what is happening in the part above it if you look. So this will be some nice differences. So we're starting with 3. The last two lines are just quarter notes. 3 on our D string. Play that with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try slowly playing that whole harmony part. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest. So that's kind of a fun thing. You can totally, I would encourage you even to record yourself playing that and then play along with it either live or do another recording to hear yourself playing both at the same time. It's really fun to do stuff like this, especially a piece like this that is a classical piece, because you learn a lot about what that old music used to sound like and what that literature is like. So it's fun to explore that a little bit. All right, Buffalo Gals. I know that this one is in one of the other books that you guys have played, but I believe they do it in the key of D instead of the key of C. So we're going to be playing this in the key of C now. And let's take a look at the bowing really quick. So we've got we're starting on a down bow. Just scanning through it, I see that we may possibly have to do a lift at the end of the first bar. I'm not sure yet. They do give us some courtesies reminding us that the F is an F natural, not an F sharp. Let's try reading this really slowly. So we're starting on that C. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Oh, I played that out of time. Try again. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. That one's a nice piece. I'll let you guys practice that on your own because I know that you're familiar with the melody. And I want to move on to one of our 16th note songs because we've been working on the 16th notes. So on page 27, we looked at this page a little bit earlier. The top one on page 27, this one is in the key of C, as we see. And it has our 16th notes in it. So let's look over the counting on this one a little bit. So it's 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4. And you guys also notice there is the number 4 above it. So that means they're wanting you to switch up, not to play that on the A string. They want you to switch over and play that with your pinky on the D string instead. Let's try just these first 2 measures. All right, so remember our lowered finger on this C on the A string, second finger lowered on the A string. 1 E and 2 E and Did you guys get that 4th finger? Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, and. All right, keeping going, we're going to do our second finger lowered on the D string in this next measure. 1, 2, 3, and. If you notice too, that's the same pattern. We're just switching the strings that we're playing on. So that line, luckily, is just a repetition. The next line, so we've got our E, and then we're going to be jumping down to C. And so just so you guys know too, we talked about this, but when I'm playing my E and I see that I'm coming back up to my E, I'll hold that E down, go and play that C with my 3rd finger, but I'll still keep that 1st finger down for my E. I don't lift it up. I just lift up that 3rd finger. Let's try beginning of the 2nd line. 1, 2, 3, and. Alright, and those are staccato, so we need to play those shorter than I did actually. Let's try that one more time. 1, 2, 3, and. Alright, and then same thing repeats itself, except we have a slur at the end of for those last 2 8th notes instead. Alright, second half of that line. 1, 2, 3, and. A little bit different too. I didn't realize we also have those 8th notes in the middle there. Good. And then the second line, I see that the first half is the same as the top line. The only thing that's different about this line is that last measure. So let's read this whole last line together and take into account that last measure. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and. So let's play this all the way through one time. One thing that I want you guys to be really, really conscious of when you're playing this is the marks. So the staccatos need to sound short and light, and then the ones with the accents above them, give those a lot more weight. All right, let's try playing the whole song together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and. All right, good job today, everyone. So just to review the pages that we worked on today, we did our C major exercises on page 8. Again, we had that C major etude, the melody and the harmony. I would encourage you guys to record yourself playing both and play it along with yourself. Then we moved over to page 27 to further some of our 16th note reading. We played that top one on page 27. Paying special attention to the staccato markings. So for this week, I would love to hear this song from you guys to homework@theorchestraplace.com. And also, if you want to, that C etude would also be a great one for us to hear you playing. But mostly I would love to hear this one with all the staccatos in it. And if you're looking for more literature this week, there are a couple of other songs that are also in C. If you go to the back of the book, one of those is the Mozart Processional. That one's pretty advanced. It's got a lot of different moving around. And it carries up into the C in the upper octave as well. But if you want to give that one a shot, you can do that and send that to us as well. But priority would definitely be the one on page 27. And then if you have extra that you want to submit, also that's C major etude. Otherwise, I will see you guys all next week. Remember to send us those files. All right, see you guys. Ciao.